Rodriguez is one of hundreds of California pastors making plans to get back to church. Pastor Jack Hibbs of Calvary Chapel in Chino Hills is organizing a movement to open on May 31st, Pentecost Sunday. But that thinking doesn't mesh with Governor Newsom's, who currently has delayed opening of churches until the third wave of his plan, which is likely months from now.
Hi, I'm Pastor Jason of La Habra Christian Church. Maybe you've heard the news about over 1,000 churches reopening in California on May 31st. If you haven't, here's a clip of a press conference.
We really feel like the churches in California need to open up on May 30th and May 31st. And so we're coming to our governor right now to say, and we've been working with the governor's office today, we just want to really be emphatically clear that we are blessed by our governor's willingness to work with us right now. We've been asking him today to include us into phase 2, that we could begin to open our churches back up. The consensus that we walked away with was that these people are prepared to roll out their churches on May 30th and May 31st. They hope to do it with the governor's approval and in partnership with the administration, but there are many of them prepared to roll no matter what.
If hundreds of people can gather under a big box store roof there to buy home improvement items, why can't they gather under our roofs under the same guidelines of social distancing to be able to receive the items that are necessary to improve their spiritual life?
Costco doesn't give free food. I have nothing against Costco. Home Depot doesn't get free supplies, but they can stay open, and our governor won't even let the church open in phase 2?
Now, I know some pastors are calling for churches to reopen May 31st, and over 1,000 churches are going to do that in California, called Pentecost Sunday. Although I disagree with that decision, they're not as bad as the media paints them to be. I mean, there's open dialogue with the governor, although they disagree. They're very respectful of the leadership in place, and they have placed safe social distancing measures at the church already.
Yeah, I get what they're saying. I could shop at Costco, but I can't worship God at church. But I think the logic is misplaced. I really think Costco was responsible for some spread of the virus. Yeah, well, people are packing into Costco and Walmart to pick up toilet paper. They also picked up the virus. So since Costco is allowed to open, let's spread the virus at church too?
And I agree that church is essential services. But it depends on who you're talking to, which perspective. Because even a drug dealer is essential to an addict. A pet store is essential to an animal lover during the quarantine. Oh, and I know, a toy store is essential to a 5-year-old. But that's not what I'm debating today. I agree with that. People need the church. That's not up for debate. And I agree that government doesn't have the right to shut down churches. We're Americans. This isn't communist China. And we have the freedom. Even if a few religions are stupid, they have a right to be stupid, if they are. I'm not going to debate the legality of church versus state in this video. But I'm talking about doing what's right. And doing what's right supersedes customs, supersedes the culture, supersedes the media, supersedes the law. But usually the law stands by what's right, righteousness. And God tells us to obey the law. But if the law says black people can't vote, protest and change the law. If the law says that I have to teach elementary school kids that transgender is normal, disobey the law, protest, change the law. Christians have to do what's right. Christians have to speak up for those who don't have a voice. Stand up for those who can't stand up for themselves. If the LGBTQ are being treated unfairly, prejudiced, then we must protect them, even if we disagree with their lifestyle choices. Fight against unfair laws. Fight against laws that kill unborn babies. And letting out criminals because of overcrowding and Covid-19, that's stupid. Christians must do what's right, regardless of what the governor says. If a communist government tells me what I can or cannot preach, then we must defy the law, like the underground churches of China. I believe that when the government is being unreasonable or being subversive of religion, not just Christianity. It is our duty as American citizens to protest in civil disobedience. However, that's not the case right now. Yeah, California is being overly cautious compared to other states, but it's not being unreasonable. And it's not singling out churches or religion. I mean, if that becomes the case, let's say in September, everything else is open except churches, then I will protest with you and show our community righteous leadership. But as a Christian, the question you should be asking right now is, what is the right thing to do? When Korea finally had 0 new cases of COVID-19, they started opening up a lot more, including a nightclub in Seoul. Now, Korea has really good tracking, and they tracked 30 new cases to that nightclub. And now Korea has a new spike of over 100 new cases. Yeah, blame the nightclub. Now, Governor Newsom currently blames nail salons and beauty salons for some of the spread of the virus. And I think he's right. But if next month churches are blamed for a new spike of the virus, then it hurts our witness. If they specifically track it to the May 31st opening up of 1,000 churches, and then even if there are no new cases in our church, we'll be guilty by association if we also open May 31st. The right thing to do is to protect people, keep our community safe. Now, the upside to opening up May 31st is that we get to worship God 1 or 2 months earlier, and we show strong leadership to our community. Now, the downside is that we show lack of good leadership to our community. We sow fear into our elderly congregation. We show rebelliousness towards the government, and we risk hurting our witness. Now, we shouldn't make decisions like this based on risk management. Otherwise, the apostles wouldn't have been martyred. But I believe that the right choice at this time is to follow the government guidelines. It's about doing the right thing and not living in fear. Don't fear the virus. Don't fear the government. Fear God and do the right thing. Love God and love your neighbors. Love your community. Even though we won't be gathering on Sundays for a while, we'll still do church, live stream, Zoom groups. Next month, I hope to open up small groups, watch parties, and we'll do a few outdoor events together. As a pastor, I'm still making phone calls, writing emails, having meetings, and visiting homes with social distancing, of course. We're still giving out food to over 100 families, reaching 30% more people with the gospel on our Sunday live streams. And at home, our church members are learning how to pray. Our church is still very alive and active during this time. So join me in this movement called the church. And join me in praying for the churches that will reopen on May 31st, because if there's another virus spread, California will rightfully respond by shutting down churches, which will spark a new religious political debate of church versus state. Till next time.
I know I'm going to get criticized for my viewpoints, but as a pastor, I have to do what I think is right. And if you appreciated this video, the only thing I ask is that you click on that like button. So until next time, enjoy these other videos.